So I want to start off by just putting a bit of a context to everything. First of all, thank you by giving me an introduction which was about 12 lines and saying I don't have to say much about it, so thank you for that. Second, when somebody from the tech media world talks to the tech media world, I think it becomes very interesting because I am playing the same role that you actually are also going to be playing, which is a lot of questions. So, when I spoke to Arijit, Needu and everybody else, I said, is it going to be just another launch? Because, launches, we go to so many launches and it kind of gets a little boring because it's the same thing. You go on stage, you talk about a particular product, you talk about how amazing the brand is, how well that you're doing, how many phones you've sold, and then you say, and here we have the next one. I'm very happy to say that I've been given a little bit of a preview on what they have done here today. So in the world of technology where innovation is coming in products but maybe not in product launches, I'm very happy to say we finally have a product launch that is very, very innovative. Nitin, I want to know from all of you, what do you think you're going to see? So the gentleman out here before me actually announced that this is not just a product launch, this is a great tech showcase. So what do you think is going to happen other than the product launches? Can I get a mic? I'll just take that one. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so before we should always start with God, right? Before we do anything else, Prabhu, what do you think is going to happen besides the launches, right? What else do you think is going to happen? Because once you enter that dimension, I'm telling you, you're entering a different dimension than ever before. You thought यही था बस, बाकी हैंगर जो था 90% हो क्या खाली है? नहीं ना, कुछ होगा वहाँ पे. Tell me, take a guess.
I think it's a Rajiv Murthy show, so
okay. So therefore it's not going to be very good.
I mean, can't even guess what it would be. I guess there will be devices, some knowledge from you, also enlighten us. Not sure. So amen for the right.
Prabhu ने तो बता दिया. अब let's go to the devil and find out there. So tell me, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
Not going to be something that we see. It's going to be beyond nothing.
Okay. The devil has also truly done his devilry. Okay, great. So, we've got a little bit of an interesting thing from the two. He's expecting it to be foldable, or maybe we can throw in a little word more than foldable, a flip also. But I think there's a lot more. I'm very happy to announce that besides just products, the Techno team has really worked hard to bring you things that you'll actually go in and interact with. Things that you'll actually be able to do. So the next, let's say, half an hour that you spend out here, every minute of that is going to be something that you did not expect. Now, the execution, putting this together, you can see this is just the first part of the room, and you have walls that are all, LEDs and everything else, but once you enter that other space, you're going to be truly surprised. I really encourage you, besides the product, to also take a look, interact, and take home, I think, what is going to be the future. Now, I'll set context. This entire thing that, Techno is doing out here today, this is not a one-off. They plan to do this every year, maybe even twice. Maybe they're overly successful, one every month, right? Not one every month, right? But it is very interesting that we now have something where companies are thinking beyond just a launch and thinking beyond just calling me on stage for every launch. They are thinking of more things now, so I think that is absolutely fantastic. So let's get started. We have, a lot of things to talk about, a lot of products to launch. It's not just a phone, there's so much more. So let's get going, and I'll just quickly take you through. So why this event? I've spoken about it. I think it's important that technology, innovation, and experiences all merge together, and that is what today is all about. So do take a look at that. What I also want to talk about is, I think all of us are very familiar with Techno's journey, right? I mean, where it was, where it is, most importantly, where it wants to go.
Our Techno journey in India started in April 2017, empowering consumers across the vibrant states of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Punjab. After that, we never looked back. In 2018, a new chapter started with the camera-centric Cam & I series, the The year 2019, we added our design and functionality-centered Spark series to our lineup. 2020 was tough with COVID-19, but we stood resilient and entered the online business in India. The year 2021, we added the performance-centric Pova series. And in 2022, TECNO changed gears with the grand launch of the premium Phantom X series, and also became one of the fastest-growing smartphone brands on Amazon. This continued with a high-decibel global launch of Phantom X2 series in Dubai in December 2022, and remaining true to its ethos of stop at nothing, introduced the first ever portrait retractable lens in smartphones with TECNO Phantom X2 Pro with superlative performance. This was followed by foray into foldable category with Phantom V Fold and MWC this year. It was the biggest made in India fold phone, which revolutionized the industry by delivering beyond the extraordinary experience to users at a much accessible price point. With the Camron 20 series, we brought to you Ultimage, the ultimate imaging experience, with an industry-first sensor shift stabilization, with RGBW Pro Sensor redefining smartphone camera capabilities. And today we are unveiling the Pova 5 series, with an ARC interface, featuring a revolutionary multicolored LED backlit design, with 3D texture, combining performance and design for pro users. Not stopping there, we're also unveiling Megabook, providing mega productivity and an unparalleled experience for the most discerning users. Witness the next era of groundbreaking advancements with TECNO, where innovation knows no bounds.
So there are going to be 2 phones, 3 laptops that you will see and be able to experience today besides all the other experiences. This is the product portfolio. I think we all remember 2 or 3 years back, TECNO was the absolute champion of everything under 10,000, maybe around 10,000 today. They have really gone up the value chain, both in terms of price, but most importantly in terms of the kind of innovation they've brought in. We'll speak about a few of these, but we are here ready to take a look at all the new stuff. So, Camon, where they redefined how optics, camera can really be all about what photography can be, even in phones where it was unheard of at that price point to be able to get really good pictures front and back. This is their series of things that they've done, how they've gone about it, the segment first that they've had in almost every single time, and that brings us to me inviting Arijit. Of course, everyone is very familiar with him. Arijit, CEO for TECNO. Arijit, if you could just join me for a few minutes, by which I mean for the rest of the show. Do you want a mic? It'll always help, right? Can we get a mic? So Arijit, I'll do exactly what I usually do when I call anybody that heads a company out here. I try not to ask the easy PR questions, because then I would not be doing my job. I'm going to ask what is in everybody's mind, right? So devil's advocate is my thought, right? So let me ask you a few of the tough questions, and as we go along, maybe for each we can just have a quick chat and then we move on. So in Camon was really put together for you to redefine camera, optics, photography, video, right? But mostly brands have taken one of 2 paths now, it's very clear, right? Either you play the megapixel game and keep going with that, 100, 200, or you go with hardware and algorithms and software and say, we can give you a 50 megapixel sensor also, a good one, but with hardware and algorithms and software, we can give you a very superior performance. You've gone one way. Why that, and why do you think that's the superior way to go?
Thanks, Rajiv. Welcome everybody to the
Can you hear him?
Welcome everybody to the world of technology. See, Rajiv, what happens is with 5G adoption increasing in India rapidly, the consumer expectation from a mobile phone is then how can you mix the AI algorithm with the photography, and what is the quality. And Camon, as you know, especially when we have launched the Camon 20, the RGBW Pro, the anti-motion censorship. So we have done small things, but these are very important. And what have we done is, in the segment, what TECNO is actually known for is either it is segment first or category first. And with the Camel 20 Premier also we have done that. When the expectation of the consumers are increasing, we are also working with each and every model, and we are working on how to give them the experience that they actually want, and we are also working very strongly on affordability. Because you can give what the consumer wants, but then what price are you giving it? So what we are really working on is, we are giving it the best of the technology, the best of the cameras, but we are also ensuring that they can afford it.
Which is exactly what you've always been known well for. So I'm just going to ask maybe the gentleman who's not concentrating on what we're doing on stage, who's been on his phone all through. Yes, we're going to test whether you heard us. Right? So, in a synopsis for the next half an hour, tell us what he and I spoke about. No. So now that you've spoken to your girlfriend, now let's you and me speak, right? Do you believe it's going to be hardware or AI that will win the camera game from now on in phones?
I think AI will make a difference because the camera hardware is same on most of the phones. It is about the tuning of each person. How
So you're saying camera in terms of hardware is almost hygiene commodity now? So take it forward. Yeah, very good. Despite not listening to us, you got it absolutely right. Amazing. Okay. Camel was a very interesting thing that you're doing. Everybody always is waiting for the next one, but this is, I think, where your game changer truly started. The Phantom series, in everything that you've done in Phantom, especially now with the V Fold, right? The kind of things you were able to do were folding phones with, you know, a high-tech, state-of-the-art phone, no compromise, at a not impossibly high price. The aspiration for a lot of people. I think this was a very interesting thing. So, you know, the customer changed, what you were doing with it changed. But how are you able to pull it off at these price points when others have not been able to do it? Is there a compromise from your side? Remember, I told you I have to ask you hard questions. So, how do you do it if others can't? Because we've seen other launches also. The price points are pretty staggering, right?
See, our simple objective at Techno, what we say is, let's stop at nothing beyond the extraordinary. It is always customer centricity. For us, it is the customer. Understand the consumer. What does the consumer want? Everybody has very high aspirations. If you see the India mobile market, it's moving so fast. And in this mobile market, there are brands who are selling this technology, but hardly people can afford it. What we have done is, we did launch the Phantom V Fold. We are so happy when we launched it at MWC, the response, and luckily we were there together. A simple thing, this is our generation 1 phone. The aerodynamic hinge, which we have tested so many times, and if you see this display, there is hardly any crease. And in a fold phone, you can give them a screen which is the largest foldable screen at a 7.85 inch, a secondary display 6.42, a camera which is very, very superior, Dimensity 9000 plus, MTK 5G processor, a 2K plus AMOLED display, and that too at such an affordable price.
Not to forget the fact that in your category you have the best battery also.
Absolutely. And why we did it and how could we do it? We thought that you also know that the 5G, this fold adoption, the foldable device adoption is moving rapidly. And because of that, let us get into a category where 40% of the consumption also happening in tier 3 and below markets. So we don't want to be a metro brand. We want to be a brand where maybe a Mumbai, Delhi also uses us, but also maybe a Meerut, a Khatoli, a Hapur. The consumers say, wow, it is the brand that has approved.
Absolutely.
We need to
The first time you
understand
actually
the
experienced.
aspirations.
How many of you have actually tried out in hand the V Fold 2, the TECNOlogy? See, I asked you guys V Fold 2. So any of you tried that? The future. I'm just checking if you all are actually. So how many of you have actually tried out the V Fold? Yes. Otherwise, you can. Those who have not, you can try it out and you can request them. They'll give you one also. So yes, do request. It is right here. Let's come up to him and talk to him, and it should happen. But I'm going to now again ask somebody in the audience a question, then I'm going to ask you a question. So, Prabhu, you came with all expectations कि एक और folding phone आएगा, right? Yeah, okay. Anybody else who thinks that they might launch a folding phone which is not a fold like this? Anybody? Anybody? None of you have that expectation. None, not even one. Prabhu, soul God out here. कोई और नहीं है जो आपको compare कर. But Arijit, I am going to put you on the burner right now. You do have another folding phone just around the corner.
Yeah.
Right? You got pretty much the best tech media out here. थोड़ा सा buzz and hype create कर दो ना. So we can actually say, so is it going to be in the same form factor? Is it going to be a flip? Is it going to be a rollable? A little bit of a hint. And price, right? Okay. She wants to know and specs and give her the sample phone, and then she can leave and we can carry on with us, right? You have very low expectations from an event, right? Totally. Okay.
Techno talks about beyond the extraordinary, let's stop at nothing. When we launched the Phantom V Fold, people were launching flip at that price. And people said, is it a flip phone? I said, no, it's a fold at a flip price. And then when they started using it, they became crazy. Very soon we are going to launch a flip
At a
price. If we can launch a fold at a flip price, then a flip at what price, maybe God can say.
no, but I'd really love to know what price point do you think is a game changer for a flip phone? We already know that the 50s, 55s are now being breached. So let's just take a quick this thing. I know that this is completely off our our normal role of what I have to do out here. Give me a price point. USP, tell us. 35. All right. What about you? What do you think?
40.
Anything under 40? Game changer, right? Okay. Anybody else? The lady in blue? 20 to 30. So they got under 10 wala bhi aane wala hai. Okay. Flip phone that becomes a flip. Okay. Even the audio equipment is very excited. So next we want an when you set such a huge target on your back that you can do anything as a brand, so now they want an under 10,000 rupee phone that flips, then folds out, then becomes a laptop and then a TV. Under 10,000 and we're done. That's it, right? We've called Techno the company of the year if they do it this year, right? Yes? Everybody yes. So we'll do that. But we're very excited. We know that if you can do fold at a flip, then flip at a becomes a very interesting tagline.
Absolutely.
Okay. Quick prediction. My prediction by the end of 2024, 25 to 30% of all phones sold will have something fold or flip in them. What do you say?
Very, very similar thought, because see, last 12 years there is hardly any differentiation in terms of display. Display, there is no differentiation. Maybe 5, 5.42, 6, 6.42, 6.85 and beyond. But the whole thing is picking up very fast. OTT, now with everybody has to have a TV.
The big screen becomes
Big
super
screen
critical,
becomes
right?
super important, and whether it's a flip or a fold. Flip, very easy to carry. Fold, so convenient. So this market is only going to increase very rapidly. 2023 H2, we are seeing many brands launching. But yeah, who will give the maximum contribution in terms of understanding the consumer, then giving them and fulfilling their aspiration is something that we need to see. 2024, very similar to anything between 20
But it would be remarkable because as tech media, we've come to realize something very interesting, that for almost 12 to 15 years, we've only had a single category called smartphones. Finally, we now talk about a second category, and not even a subcategory. We say folding phones and smartphones. With the RGB lighting in multi-colors, not in a single color. So that's the Pova 5 Pro. Let's talk a little bit about this particular phone. I think I have one or two quick questions about this, but first I will tell a lot of you, I've spent a little bit of time with this phone. I'll tell you the 2 or 3 things that really stand out to me. Of course, that ARC interface, like which you can do a lot of, go into more detail with that entire thing of what all you can do. Segment plus 68 watt ultra fast charging, which I think is again a big deal. And of course, the fact that you have a 120 Hz refresh rate on this one. And you've got a really, really good battery on this. And most importantly, bypass charging, which in this segment, and when you will know the price point, you'll understand what that really is all about. That this segment is quite a game changer to get bypass charging. So interesting stuff. Let's go a little bit more into detail. There are some things that really stand out in this. So 3D texture design with ARC interface, 3-dimensional sense of light and shadow that plays around. Also the entire way the design, like I said, is become DNA for all techno phones. But what all can this interface do? And remember, this is what it can do now, what it can do in the future, because of course these lights will be used in many ways. So one, it's got RGB, so you can get almost any color that you want. You can get a lot of scenes, different style of ambience. You can use it for notifications, calls, music, charging, and of course, I'm sure they'll add a lot more functionality as you go along. Lighting effects, incoming call notifications, low battery and charging, entering game space, booting up. So there's a lot that you can do with it, and you can of course customize it for different things, particular kinds of calls, what kind of notifications you want for a particular app. So there's a lot that you can do out there. The 2 colors that are available in this, and charging and battery, like I said, segment first in many ways, 68 watt charger, high capacity battery, bypass charging, so no overheating, goes directly to the circuit and not the battery, which again is a big game changer. And of course at 68 watts it is pretty fast. The performance, again, it is performance and design, so no compromise out there, and especially at this segment, category and price point, I think this is a strong play that YouTube made into this space. Very interesting to see at this price point. And then of course, memory configuration is pretty good. Display 120 Hz. And then again, good camera again in everything that they put into this. Good solid results is what we've been getting both on video and photos. And then the front camera also I think is very interesting. Again, the dual flash that you had in the slightly more expensive products have now been brought into this, and this is an f1.6 if I remember correctly, right? So not the selfie but the main camera. The aperture is f1.6, so you can do some great low light photography and pretty stable stuff also. Vapor cooling chamber at this price point and that size for the gamer works very, very well. It's very interesting. I don't know how many of you have done a very detailed study of the iOS 13.1 based on Android. Anybody that's gone into epic detail? Anybody know what social turbo can do? No? I would really advise all of you that when you get this phone, you have any phone from Techno, do try out what social turbo can do. It actually does things you have never heard of. The things you can do with WhatsApp that you would have to hack into your phone big time to pull it off, including the fact that you have a beauty filter for WhatsApp calls and WhatsApp photos, and a whole lot more. I can't give it away, but you can do quite a few interesting things like something to do with WhatsApp calls that you can do within it, and a whole lot more. So social turbo works well. Theft alert is something that we tried out at an airport. So public space, you put your phone down for charging. Someone, for a second you're off talking to somebody or gone for a coffee and someone takes it out, it will give you an alarm and a notification. So quite a few very interesting things that really usually we show in our reviews. You have to put down this app or otherwise. A lot of intelligence built into iOS out there. That's your overall synopsis of it. But now, Arjit, let's come down to that part. You made that claim 1.5 years back on design. Why? I know no one wants to buy an ugly phone, but your emphasis on design goes way beyond that. You see what this phone looks like. It's actually a seriously good-looking phone. In hand, it is excellent. The overall dimensions of the phone are fantastic. The material used are very premium. Everything just comes together, right? Why is design DNA for you?
Thanks, Rajiv. And Thank you Team Amazon for being here and a lot of support that we already get from you, and from this new category we are really hopeful. See, what happens is we are talking about gaming phones for some time and this category is increasing day by day. So what was important? A gaming phone earlier used to be a phone with a bigger display. Then it was a display with a battery. Then display, battery, RAM, ROM. Gaming phone means big phone, slightly bulky. It's okay because performance has to be good. But then we said, okay, if you have to have a gaming phone, you need to have a bigger battery, then you need to have a fast charging as well. No, you have to have a camera because a gaming phone is just not for gaming. You use it when you go out. It has to have a decent camera. Then your chipset has to be good. Then eventually it is all about aesthetics. That you want to font about your phone. When you talk about 5 gaming phones, does it have an arch light? How does it look? Does it have RGB blue? How does the back panel look? How is the camera module? So all these small things.
5G. Prediction is that 62% of all phones in 2023 now sold will be 5G. 100 million mark already crossed on 5G phone shipped out. Has it changed the consumer? Has it changed the market? Has it changed your way of thinking that 5G now becomes hygiene for everything else that happens? Or will there be still a time and a place for 4G phones in the next 6 months?
2 things. One, we should be lucky and we should be proud that we are Indians. The speed at which we are growing, very few countries are growing at this speed. The speed at which our internet adoption is there, we can compete with the bigs in the world. 5G is moving very fast. As you said, 100 million mark we have already crossed. Almost 59% more vis-a-vis last year. I remember last year we had 2 to 3 5G phones, and whenever we used to discuss, we said this brand has 5G, but most of these brands were 5G ready. But now 50% of the phones that we are launching will be 5G. And the expectation of the consumer from a 5G, be it the AI integration, the camera, the battery, and the speed at which the entire 5G ecosystem is moving. How I see is that above 12K, primarily it will be 5G.
Okay.
Few models less than 10K, 10 to 12K also
A mix.
a mix, but people have to really have a very good 4G phone to compete with a good 5G phone. But 5G adoption will increase very fast. But yeah, India, still we have 220 million on 2G. So this 2G will eventually move to 4G. But yeah, this 4G adoption, 5G is very fast.
I think it's a very interesting space for sure, and my prediction is that it will be pretty much under 10 after 2023 that will play the 4G game, and anything over 10 will be 5G. Absolutely, I think it's a hygiene point. All right.